Following UFC 291, Conor McGregor has just called out Justin Gaethje for a matchup after Justin Gaethje's BMF title fight this past weekend. And now things just got a whole lot more interesting because Conor McGregor is currently in the Ultimate Fighter season with Michael Chandler. And now at the beginning of the year, a lot of people thought that this matchup was actually going to be happening by the end of the year. But with all the USADA drama going on, and I guess it's been looking likely that the matchup might not even be happening because Conor McGregor didn't enter the 6-month pool at the right time to actually be able to fight. But then it did seem like UFC, USADA, and Conor McGregor were all kind of working together to kind of figure this out so they can schedule the fight before the end of the year. But now Conor McGregor kind of just said, screw Michael Chandler on Twitter and said, I want Justin Gaethje for the BMF title. So now a lot of people are starting to think that maybe the Justin Gaethje fight might be happening over the Michael Chandler fight at this point. And now I'm going to go over some of the things that were said on Twitter during the UFC 291 card after Justin Gaethje did beat Dustin Poirier by a second round KO. So looking at what Conor McGregor said on Twitter, he said, Justin, I'll slap you around. I'm the real BMF. He can fight for pennies if he wants, but I want spirits. I will call the shots. I'm in it to launch shots. Screw Chandler. You want it, call for it. And then he also did say, I'm going to KO him with one shot, guarantee it. And now after that, Justin Gaethje did at least respond to him on Twitter and said, sign the contract, big boy. And now this became really interesting because obviously Conor McGregor has been pretty vocal about wanting the BMF title, and Justin Gaethje has been pretty vocal about not wanting to fight Conor McGregor because of all the roids that he's most likely taking at this point, and the fact that he didn't really accept some of I wouldn't say opportunities, but he wasn't accepting some of the call outs from Justin Gaethje when Justin Gaethje was calling him out. So he doesn't want to give Conor McGregor that opportunity. He said that in his post-fight press conference after this recent event. But then he goes on Twitter and says, sign the contract, big boy. And now I'm going to say this. It has been pretty known that his manager, Ali Abdelaziz, has gotten his fighters' social medias and has been known to say stuff on social media. And this does sound more like an Ali Abdelaziz than a Justin Gaethje, in my opinion. I don't see Justin Gaethje saying, sign the contract, big boy. It sounds more of like something Ali would say. But in all honesty, I don't think the Justin Gaethje versus Conor McGregor fight will be happening over the Michael Chandler fight because, in all actuality, I think Justin Gaethje saying sign the contract, big boy, on Twitter is more of Ali Abdelaziz kind of calling McGregor's bluff. Because let's be real, I think Ali probably has an idea of what matchups are being made around the UFC because, Ali Abdelaziz and Dana White have a pretty good relationship, or at least with the UFC, they have a pretty good relationship, which is why a lot of people want to be under Ali. But I think this is more of calling Conor McGregor's bluff. I guess Conor McGregor did reply with like an autograph and him like clapping on top of a cage, but this is more of calling his bluff too. So when Conor McGregor does end up getting scheduled with Michael Chandler, they can kind of say like, oh, you dodged us, like you were offered the contract, and then put Conor McGregor in kind of that rough position that he's kind of putting Justin Gaethje in. And realistically, I think Conor McGregor is really just, he's a promoter and a fighter. He's really just trying to get his name around the event because recently he has been relatively quiet than what was happening with the USADA drama that was happening before then, and a lot of attention was on him, and now a lot of attention is on him again because of the UFC 291 fight where he started commenting and started talking trash. So Conor McGregor is a promoter I won't even say at heart, but he is the promoter. He's the master promoter. He's the biggest star pretty much in all of combat sports at this point. So he's going to be doing that kind of thing, getting his name out there during some of these big events. And you kind of knew that he's going to say something after Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje. But for the matchup possibly happening, I guess it is a possibility because Conor McGregor does kind of just want titles. You don't really have to give him a contender before giving him a BMF title shot because it's not the actual lightweight or welterweight title. You can kind of just go in there and make it a little bit of a money fight. If you don't like the Chandler fight, maybe do it with Justin Gaethje because there's the takedown chance of Michael Chandler. But in all honesty, I think Michael Chandler is a more winnable matchup because of the fight IQ of Michael Chandler. I really do like Michael Chandler. He's a very entertaining fighter, but he's really bad at fight IQ. And he's can be a little bit more open on the feet than a Justin Gaethje because Justin Gaethje has really honed in his skills at this point. So I think a better fight for Conor McGregor would be Michael Chandler, in my opinion. But this matchup could definitely be made for the UFC, Justin Gaethje versus Conor McGregor. If they wanted to do it before the end of the year, I don't mind it. It just means that Michael Chandler would have to find someone else. And that's a whole other issue and story because Gamrot and Fiziev are kind of fighting right now. So you don't really have an idea of who would be fighting Michael Chandler if he did get freed up. And I just don't think that will happen. The UFC has invested the Ultimate Fighter in both of these guys, and I do see the fight still ending up going on. it does seem like the show's starting to heat up a little bit more than it was towards the beginning of the season. So that's my take on what's happening here. I think Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler will still be happening. I don't see Justin Gaethje kind of popping in there and taking the shot away from Michael Chandler, although it does make sense. I think the UFC will probably, I don't even know if Justin Gaethje would necessarily fill in as like a backup role, but for the Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira fight, I think they kind of want a backup fighter. Maybe they just want to preserve Gaethje a little bit more in case they need him. I don't know if he's willing to go into a backup role there, but maybe they need someone to just hang out there and just be there in case something happens with Charles Oliveira's weight or even in Islam Makhachev's weight. So I think they kind of just want to hold on to Gaethje there. Gaethje does like to take a little bit more time off. So, but on the flip side of it, Justin Gaethje is going to have a bunch of time. He can kind of boost his name up against Conor McGregor, make a really big payday because he is going to get pay-per-view points with the BMF belt, and he is fighting Conor McGregor, the biggest star in the sport. So there's good ideas on both sides here, but I think the UFC does stick with the Michael Chandler fight. They put the big promotional machine of The Ultimate Fighter around these two guys, so I think they will end up still going with it. So that's what I have for this one. Let me know which fight you think gets made, and I'll see you guys